Hey, it's a friend Choice CJ here, and this is my Week 10 battle of the UBC. We are going up against Will, the RNG Lord. He's a nice, funny guy. He's got a good attitude. He doesn't take the game too seriously, and, a lot of folks tend to get really upset over Pokemon, and so I'm glad that he's kind of a laid-back guy. But in case you missed our team builder, we have brought a pretty good team. I'll go ahead and just do a quick recap. We have a Shukaberry Heatproof Bronzong with Gyro Ball, Toxic, Stealth Rock, Earthquake, meant to take on Altaria. I can also take one hit from Excadrill. We have a Spadef Decidueye with Haze, Toxic, Roost, and Spirit Shackle. It can prevent Cresselia from setting up, and also prevent things like Dusclops from setting up, and potentially SD Drill. We do have a Keyberry to help us take physical hits a little bit better. We have a Leftovers Thundurus with T-Wave, Sludge Wave, Thunderbolt, and Focus Blast. Just wanted to have this in order to get off the T-Wave on something like a setup Altaria or a Nasty Plot Crobat or something like that. We have a Darkium Z Greninja that's mostly physical. We can get off a big hit on Cresselia, like 60%. With our Black Hole Eclipse, which is pretty nice. We have a Scarf Mew with Earth Power, Psychic, Sludge Wave, and one other move that I can't remember. I did have Volt Switch originally, but I did end up switching it for Sludge Wave because I wanted to hit the Altaria and to potentially the Tapu Fini. I really can't remember what my last move was. But anyway, then our last set is a Endure Salackberry Nidoking. And just looking at his team, that Nidoking can really put in work if we can weaken the Cresselia. Because that thing is just so bulky. It's quite ridiculous. And I'm going to lead off with my Thundurus. I'm not really sure what he's going to lead with. I'm hoping like maybe the Crobat. And if he leads like Jolteon or something, we can easily pivot out. If he wants to lead with Stunfisk and get up rocks, we can try and take that thing on. And so we will lead off with that, as he does lead off with the Stunfisk. Now, I don't really want to pivot anything into this, so I go for Focus Blast, and I do miss, which is not ideal. He goes for a Toxic, and then we're going to go for a second Focus Blast and miss again. Not off to a great start. He gets up his rocks. He's probably going to get up his rocks no matter what, but what are you going to do? I go for a third Focus Blast, and I miss again. So, missing 3 Focus Blasts in a row is a 1 in 27 chance. So now we are here at 45%, and we've gotten no damage off on this Stunfisk. So this is kind of absurd. Not Will's fault. This is turns out this is going to be a Spadef Stunfisk anyway. So we're not going to be able to get off a ton of damage on this. But again, I don't want to bring anything in because Greninja doesn't want to take the electric move, Nidoking doesn't want to take the ground move, Bronzong doesn't want to get chipped down, doesn't want to hit Shukaberry being burned. Decidueye, I don't want it to get Toxic because then it can't take on Cresselia very well. Mew, I guess I could potentially bring in here, but, Thundurus is already so weak at this point that I don't really know what else to do with it besides just try and let it go down. It does suck because I'm giving up my ground immunity. And, this is otherwise like a fairly decent drill check. It does have Rock Slide, of course, but we can probably live one of those, depending on what the range of HP that we're at. Like, if we were closer to full, we could have done that. But at this range, we definitely can't live. And, we're going to be coming in on rocks again anyway. We're Toxic, so I'm just going to continue to stay in here and just, cross my fingers, hope that he's got Focus Blast, or that I can hit Focus Blast. And I do finally hit one. And I think I mentioned this, the damage reveals that he's Spadef. I was trying to figure out what the heck his item was. And I was like, he's got to be like something ridiculous like Bright Powder. He said he was Rocky Helmet, but I have no way of knowing what it, if he was just saying that to make me feel better or something. So if he was Rocky Helmet, that's kind of curious because Stunfisk is a decent check to Tyrantrum. It's one of his only rock resists on his team besides Excadrill. And but if he is going to be a Spadef set, he's still not going to take head smashes very well. So I'll have to talk to him more and figure out why exactly he wanted to bring Rocky Helmet on a Spadef set. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to go down on this next turn. I want to get off one more Focus Blast, and you can see I do miss a 4th one. So 4 to 5 Focus Blasts we ended up missing. So really sucks. We pretty much lose our Thunderous for just 25% damage on the Stunfisk. I'm going to go into Mew, reveal the Earth Power, as he's going to go for the Toxic. It makes sense because he didn't know what kind of Mew I was. I could be like Calm Mind or something like that. If I had been like Sub, that would have been really sick. But alas, I'm not. And the nice thing about this is that he is going to synchronize himself and Toxic himself. So whereas Earth Power was not a 2-hit KO, it is now going to be a 2-hit KO because he takes that 6% from Toxic. So we did 36% with our Earth Power, and yeah, so I'm wondering if he's going to switch out into Crobat or Cresselia or something like that. He decides to go into Altaria, which is still a flying type, so he is immune to that. I'm going to go hard into Bronzong as he goes for a Dragon Dance. He probably should have just gone for like a Fairy move or something, because nothing on my team really wants to take it. But I do want to go for a Gyro Ball here just to try and get off damage. And I do have Sugar Berry in order to take less damage from the Earthquake. I do have Heat Proof to take less damage from the Fire Blast, so there's really nothing that he can do to me that's going to do a tremendous amount of damage. I'm not sure if Earthquake would have been a 2-hit KO after the damage from the first Earthquake. I can do a quick calc and see if that's the case. Go to this guy, go to Altaria. Let's assume that it's this set. So at +1, yeah, so +1 had a chance to 2-hit KO. It probably would have after Rocks. It depends on the rolls, it's hard to say. But anyway, so I did just go for the Gyro Balls. He goes into Cresselia. If he was like very confident that I would be going for Gyro Ball, then this makes sense. But there was an opportunity for me to click Toxic, so I think going Cresselia was kind of risky. But ultimately, it is what it is. I am just gonna click Toxic now because I don't think he can run Sub versus me if he's Calm Mind. Like he would have to bring like he kind of needs both Psychic and Fairy coverage because Greninja is obviously immune to his Psychic type attacks. But he does reveal the Substitute, so I'm thinking, okay, so maybe he's Sub Calm Mind without Moonlight, but he doesn't have leftovers. He just has Rocky Helmet. I was like, well, maybe he's Sub like 2 attacks with Moonlight, but no, he shows the Calm Mind here. So he's got to be mono attacking. So I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe he's mono attacking with Moonblast, because then I can't really deal that well with that. Legolas is going to be able to come in here and deal relatively well with this Cresselia because I do have the Haze, I have Spirit Shackle, I can break its Sub every time, and I do have Toxic, but I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get off a Toxic on this thing. And he gets a crit with the Psyshock. Now this crit actually is kind of big because with my Thunderous being gone, Decidueye is my best way to switch into the Excadrill there. And now I can't because I'm at too low of HP. I'm at like 34% or like 36%, something like that. And I have to take a round of rocks before I come in. And there's not really going to be any opportunity for me to roost up. I guess I could potentially roost up on a Stunfisk, but maybe that would have been my play. But even so, like Stunfisk maybe do, like I'm only be at like 20%. Maybe it could have done enough damage with Thunderbolt or something like that. But definitely a bummer, because now Excadrill's looking really, really scary. And he does go for the Psyshock, which reveals that his full moveset. He's got the Sub, Calm Mind, Moonlight, and Psyshock. So this thing can't touch Greninja, which, considering that's going to be like the thing that I want to nuke this thing with, like I don't understand why he didn't bring Moonlight, but I'm just complaining. So I'm going to just try and move on. And this Decidueye, because it got crit, is not going to be able to roost up or anything versus the Cresselia. I'm just going to go hard into Greninja after I get off this Spirit Shackle. Cresselia, on the bright side, is pretty weakened. But yeah, I know that there's no way that he can hit me. And I'm immune to that Psyshock. I know there's no way he's going to stay in now, so I am just going to go for a Hydro Pump, because it hits pretty much everything on his team pretty hard. And as you can see, we are going to take out the Stunfisk, that stupid, annoying Stunfisk. So anyway, this is a pretty good opportunity for him to go straight into Jolteon. And anticipating his electric move, I am going to go right into Nidoking. As he does, just go ahead and click the T-Bolt, so that's pretty nice for me. I don't want to go for the Earth Power because it's so obvious, and he does anticipate that going into the Crobat. Still do a good chunk of damage. Like, basically, I didn't want the Cresselia coming in and being able to Moonlight. That was the big concern. Now that my Decidueye is really weakened and I can't really deal with it anymore. My Decidueye is basically, like, worthless right now. But anyway, he's going to come in with the Crobat. I don't think that a Brave Bird's going to kill, and so I stay in as he anticipates my Switch out going for Pursuit. And we're able to just nuke it with Ice Beam, which is pretty nice. So he is now going to bring in his Drill. And I guess there's two things that could happen here. One, he could just go for EQ trying to revenge me. Or second, he could go for Swords Dance. Swords Dance I don't think makes a lot of sense, because I still have Greninja and Mew that can easily revenge this thing. And this Nidoking is sort of a threat to his team. I do outspeed Altaria, I do outspeed Cresselia, and this is the only thing that's preventing Jolteon from just clicking Volt Switch and gaining momentum. So I'm kind of thinking that he's going to go for the Earthquake, in which case I can just go for the Endure. And that is what I do. I go for Endure. He's going to bring me down to 1%, but that is going to activate my Salic Berry. And so we get our boost, and I have to, like, you know, this is a tough play because I could just try and nuke this Excadrill that's in here. I don't know what kind of Excadrill this is. Could be Shuka Berry, could be Swords Dance. I really have no idea. Earth Power is going to hit most of the things on his team. It obviously doesn't hit Cresselia. So, you know, am I going to anticipate one of those other switches, or am I just going to go for the Earth Power? Ultimately, I do decide that I want to go for the Earth Power as the Cresselia does come in, which is pretty unfortunate for me. And even though Cresselia is weakened, it's not weakened to the point where Sludge Wave can kill. So, maybe I got a little bit too excited here, but I couldn't switch in anything on the Excadrill. Like, I guess I could have sacked the Decidueye, but I thought that this might work, and depending upon how it played out, like, I could have gotten rid of his Drill, and then maybe if he had just gone into Cresselia after that, like, I'd be happy just to be rid of Drill. It's one of those hindsight's 2020 things. I'm not too upset that this is the play that I made. And yeah, even if I had Shadow Ball on this, I don't think there's any way I could kill Cresselia. All I have to hit it is the Sludge Wave, and I do get off like 31%, which is not awful. As he goes for the Psyshock and takes me out. Maybe I could have gone right into Greninja, but maybe that's what I should have done, because he's either going to Psyshock and take me out. Like, he probably wanted to Psyshock just because the Nidoking is kind of a big threat. I think an interesting play from him would have been to go for the Moonlight, because I don't think there's anything that I could have gone for. There's nothing in Nidoking's move pool that I'm aware of that can Oko Cresselia. Or not even Oko, but, you know, do 45% to it, which is the range of HP that it was at. But I could have maybe gone hard Greninja and saved my Nidoking as sack fodder. Might have been useful for trying to get in my Mew versus a Jolteon, or my Mew versus Excadrill or something like that. But yeah, Nidoking just wasn't going to be doing anything anymore because rocks were indeed still in the field. So I'm not going to go into Mew, and I could have gone either into this or into Greninja. I didn't want to go into Bronzong because he can just start to Moonlight up. I guess I could have gotten off a Toxic, which would have been fine. And Cresselia, I've already seen, can't do anything to me. That might have been an interesting play to go for that instead. But if I was going to go into Greninja, I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to invite in the Jolteon, because I don't have a switch in for that anymore. And at least with Mew, I can go for Dark Pulse and invite in most likely the Altaria, because it does resist Dark Pulse. And then I can go into Bronzong, and Bronzong takes on Altaria very well. So I do just go for the Dark Pulse on my Mew, and is able to take out the Cresselia, so that's nice. And now he's going to bring in his Excadrill, which I didn't quite expect, but it still makes sense. Dark Pulse isn't going to be able to do a whole lot. He doesn't still really know what set I am on my Mew. I could be like Expert Belt or something, you know, who knows. I could be bulky. But you know, depending on the investment that I have, his Earthquake might kill. It might not. It's kind of a judgment call. But as it is, I can't stay in. I know that with my investment, the Earthquake does kill. And I can't kill him with my Dark Pulse. Maybe like if I had Surf or something and I wasn't Scarf, I could have gone for that, but that's not the way that it's going to play out. I am just going to sack my Decidueye because Decidueye can't do anything. It can't roost on anything. It can't take any hits. And I'm going to go into Greninja. Now, this is a big moment because, you know, he switched out his Excadrill on the Nidoking earlier. And to me, that kind of ruled out the possibility of him being Choice Scarf. Because unless he was Adamant Scarf, then, you know, Adamant Scarf is not going to outspeed the Nidoking, but Jolly still would, assuming that he had enough speed for my Nidoking. So to me, I was like, okay, there's no way that he's Scarf. But it is going to turn out that he is Scarf. He's going to be able to take out my Greninja no problem, because Greninja is not at all bulky, and I'm actually a minus defense nature, so even if I wasn't minus defense nature, I don't think I had a chance to live. It did like 91% minimum versus my spread, and I was at 75% HP, so it just wasn't going to be looking good for my Greninja there. But yeah, like if he was Scarf Drill, I'm like I don't really know why he switched out versus the Nidoking, but you know, it's neither here nor there. Nidoking ended up not really doing anything versus his team anyway. So maybe he was Adamant Scarf. I don't think Adamant Scarf like would have been the right choice. Like if it were me, I would have run Jolly, but that doesn't matter. But yeah, this looking like the Excadrill is just gonna finish off our team. I could just go into Mew and try and get off an Earth Power, but there's no way we're gonna be able to finish his team off. Like Earth Power 2 KOs, and then the but you know, he's gonna be able to kill us with his Earthquake. And so I just decided, you know, to try and get as close to differential as possible, I'm going to go into Bronzong. I'm going to be able to take one EQ and get off an EQ of my own. And then Mew is going to be able to come in, finish off the Excadrill, but then he can just go right into Altaria and take care of my Mew. So, you know, I don't think I lost this game due to hacks. But it definitely didn't help because the Stunfisk was able to remain at a high amount of HP. The Stunfisk, you know, if it had taken just one more Focus Blast, it would have been in range of an attack from either Greninja or Nidoking. Then my Mew wouldn't have had to come in and get Toxic. And then if my Decidueye hadn't gotten crit, I could have tried to take on the Drill. Like I could have sacked something, brought in my Decidueye, and then roosted up. And if he wasn't Scarf like he was, you know, he could switch up his moves, but at that point I would have gotten a +1 boost from the Key Berry that my Decidueye was holding, and I've been in a much better position to take on that Excadrill potentially. And actually, like other than Crobat, he didn't have a awesome way of dealing with my Decidueye, because he couldn't hit it like super effectively with anything besides Jolteon's Shadow Ball. And yeah, so it could have really put in work, but it didn't get the chance to do that because we got crit. But you know, like it always sucks because you can't ever say like, you know, this would have, you know, if this had happened, then I would have won, or if this hadn't happened, then I would have won. It's not fair to the other person. You know, Will played well. He, you know, had a really nice drill set. The Scarf Drill was, you know, really potent versus me. And, you know, it was potent versus me because of the, you know, the Thundy and the Decidueye getting hacks. But it doesn't, like, you know, even those weren't fantastic checks to drill. So, you know, he didn't do anything wrong. He played the game, like, the way he's supposed to be played. And, you know, the reason that I'm, like, really disappointed about this is that it pretty much eliminates us from playoffs. I don't think we're literally eliminated, but I think we're practically eliminated because we're 5-5 now. We have a -9 differential. And we're in like 9th or 10th place out of the 16 teams, and so it's going to be really hard for us to claw back into playoff position after you know, in these next 2 games, because like everybody ahead of us is going to have to lose 2 games, and it just seems unlikely. It seems like it's not going to happen. So, you know, it's not even this game that I'm like really disappointed about. Like I am sad that I lost, and I'm sad that I got unlucky. But mostly I'm just sad that I'm not going to be returning to UBC playoffs in all likelihood. You know, this is the league where we won the championship in Season 2, made the championship in Season 3, and I would have loved to try and make some noise in the playoffs once again, but it doesn't seem like it's in the cards. On the bright side, we do have a pretty good shot at making the playoffs in the UPC, so we'll at least have that going. And I do want you guys to check that out. And I am, of course, doing still analyst videos for the GPA, which has been a lot of fun. Being able to make some good friends through that, meet quite a lot of people. And we're going to kind of put my name out there. And we do have, as well, coming up this week, the Token Minorities March Madness Tournament, hosted by Jolt and the Token Minorities. That's going to be a lot of fun. I have a couple of videos going up for that this week to sort of showcase my prelim matches, and hope that that's something that you guys enjoy. So make sure you go check out Will. Again, nice guy, good team. He is putting himself into playoff position, so if you wanted to root for your Oriolus, maybe you'll root for the San Antonio Sparce instead. That is the team that Will coaches. And yeah, that'll do it for me. Make sure to check out the channel for more gaming and Pokemon content, and until the next time, I'll see you guys later.